The Japanese Maglev train is earmarked to be the fastest train in the world and will cost about $100 billion to complete. Imagine moving from one part of Japan to the next on a train that runs on an astonishing speed. That's how fast the Maglev train runs. Hello, and welcome to another exciting edition. In this video, we'll tell you all you need to know about the Maglev. Japan is not the only country with its metro infrastructure, but theirs is the fastest the world will ever see. Already, parts of Japan already has it. However, it's been extended to other parts of the country. So sit back, relax, and let us do a deep dive into Japan's famous bullet trains. The island of Japan is already home to some of the fastest trains in the world. They move at a breathtaking speed, so much so that the passengers feel like they're floating when they're in it. The Far East nation has always had extensive metro systems, called the Shinkansen. The Shinkansen went into operation in 1964, and ever since, the government has constantly upgraded the system to make it more efficient. The Shinkansen was launched before the Tokyo Olympic Games of 1964, but with plans to develop a new system of maglev trains. The efficiency and speed of Japan's metro system will change for the better. Origin of the bullet train. To get a better perspective of the maglev train, we need to look back to history for knowledge. The first bullet train was born when it linked to Osaka and Tokyo. It ran at a top speed of 210 kilometers an hour and carried more than 1 million passengers each day. But as time went on, Shinkansen developed into a thing of pride for the nation because it was one of the most efficient trains in the world. The Shinkansen was something that people were proud of and not one to rest on their oars. The government and Japanese metro engineers developed a new train called the Maglev. But one other country already has a fully functional maglev train: China. China already has a similar metro system that shuttled passengers from Shanghai to Pudong airports at 268 miles per hour. Even though the Chinese trains were faster, engineers in Tokyo designed the new maglev to cover the same distance at a shorter time. However, after the first years of its technological brilliance, the government of Japan started developing a faster rate system to replace the old Shinkansen line. Plans for the new Chuo Shinkansen line. The Chuo Shinkansen maglev line is earmarked to cover a distance of 178 miles and will cost over $100 billion when it's complete. The new maglev train will run at a top speed of 500 kilometers per hour, thereby slashing the distance between both cities by 40 minutes. With a completion time set for 2027, this superconduction train will be able to levitate by 10 centimeters with little or no friction. In 2015, the system was test ran by Central Japan Railway Company, the operating company, and surprisingly, it reached a top speed of 600 kilometers per hour, shattering the previous records set by other high-speed trains. After the initial success of Central Japan Railway started construction, the line across the route, and part of the rail line will run through tunnels. Now the maglev train works? How does a train run so fast? This is the question many have asked, ever since the speed profile of the Japanese maglev train was revealed. But first, before such a question is answered, we must first understand how it works. Maglev trains were designed by Central Japan Railway Company and the Research Institute at the start of the 70s with a design principle based on the magnetic repulsion system. This repulsion system is a combination of levitation and magnetism. The magnetic levitation, or floating as layman men will call it, is achieved with the aid of electrodynamic suspension systems. The rail lines will have two different sets of metal coils, connected together by wounding them into a figure of 8 to form electromagnets. Then the trains have superconducting electromagnets of their own, called bogies. When the train is not in motion, it tests on the rubberized wheels. To start motion, the train lurches forward on the rubber wheels, allowing the magnets to connect with the rail line. Once the train hits 150 kilometers per hour, this creates a magnetic force strong enough to lift the entire train 4 inches off the ground. This amazing technology eliminates friction, so breathtaking speeds can be achieved. Another amazing thing about the maglev train in Japan is that the same force that propels it forward is the same force that keeps it at the center of the rail line. A similar technology is found in Tesla's Hyperloop, known to be exceptionally smooth and safe on the tracks. The top speed of the Japanese and Chinese maglev trains. If you remember, we mentioned at the start of this video that China had its own maglev system. The Chinese train works really well, and the government unveiled plans to make it even faster, so as to outperform that of Japan. If you understand Far East Asia's geopolitics and the rivalry between both countries, You'll understand why this rail system is as much of a priority for the Chinese government as much as it is for the Japanese government. In terms of speed, Japan's version of the upgraded Maglev train can cover 375 miles per hour. In retrospect, China's version can cover just 268 miles per hour at its highest speed, while South Korea's version can cover 311 miles respectively. With new world speed records already shattered, the development of this new technology is one that will transform the Japanese economy and allow it to maintain its position as a first world country. Where will Maglev train pass through? The new Maglev trains were approved and entered into construction in 2009. The initial plan is to link Tokyo to Nagoya by 2027 at the latest. The time frame for completing the trip is set for 40 minutes, which will be faster than connecting both cities through air flights. It's also faster than the existing metro line connecting the same route, which currently takes 90 minutes to complete. The Maglev's proposed route will include stops at various stations, which will include Shinagawa, Lida, Kofai, Sagamihara, and Nakasugawa. Initially, developers had planned the route to be between Tokyo and Osaka, which will last 1 hour. However, due to mounting costs, planners decided to complete the Tokyo to Nagoya route first, after which the line will be extended to Osaka from Nagoya by 2045. Another information released to press is that about 80% of the route will pass through the underground tunnels and mountain ranges, which is roughly 177 miles. Also, the initial cost was set for $55 billion, but after adjustment for inflation and changing material cost, the project will likely hit the $100 billion threshold by the time it's completed. The risk? For a train that moves so fast, accidents are to be expected, right? Well, the answer is nil. In over 60 years of operation, the old Cho Shinkansen rail system has witnessed 0 fatal accidents, which made them one of the safest trains in the world. With even more advanced and safety features introduced into the new edition, engineers expect the same spotless record to be maintained. Designers plan to include 16 carriages, with each one being able to accommodate 1,000 passengers. They have even invited members of the public to take part in test rides to assure citizens of its safety. Tickets will start going on sale by 2027. In 2027, tickets will start going on sale, and passengers will get to enjoy traveling from Tokyo to Nagoya, or vice versa, in half the time. Traveler will not have to reach the end of the route, as they can make stops at railway stations en route. What is the future of high-speed trains? Who would have imagined that a day will come when trains will compete against airplanes for speed? Well, the dawn is upon us. We are witnessing a technological reality we never thought possible. Former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe made the project a priority of his administration and proposed selling the technology to the US for a maglev line from Washington to New York. The current administration in Japan has continued the project. The US also had plans to connect Los Angeles to San Francisco using a Hyperloop train with potential to cover 700 miles per hour. Although the project is on hold now, planners hope to reinitiate it in the coming years. Let us also not forget the moves being made by China to continually modernize their own version of the maglev to make it faster and more efficient. As communities begin to expand in populations, the demand for efficient transportation will continue to grow. Administrators in Japan understand this need and are willing to invest in rail infrastructure. When completed, the maglev train connecting Tokyo to Nagoya will be the fastest in the world, and Japanese citizens will be glad to have it.